and we'll put them in a whole big series.
Right. Don't worry, America. You'll eat this shit up as usual.
But yeah, I thought it was interesting that they never really discuss in the trailers and things the very scientific and poignant fact that they were trying to get at.
A lot of this to me was very similar to the reboot film Lost in Space. I think it came out in the late 90s, maybe the early 2000s. And basically the Earth was dying. Mm-hmm. Typical sci-fi plot there. And they had to leave Earth, go find a new Earth, and shit gets carried away and they get lost in space. Mm-hmm. Very similar to this, right? They go out, try to get lost in space. The only difference is they can, in theory, come back through space. Right? So they can...
Using a black hole or...
the same way they got in, it was like this spherical, like metaphysical bubble in space that had just appeared out of nowhere. And they, I guess, had sent a few satellites there and...
It sounds very black hole-like.
No. So the black hole was different. So the black hole is the thing at the end, and they were saying whatever goes in the black hole doesn't come out. We're not sure where it goes in because anything we've ever sent in, light escapes. For damn sure, no satellites and iPhones escape. So we're not sure. And I guess Matt McConaughey felt like it was time to leave the map pack at the very end. So he took his giant ass, iMac/iPad of a robot. No, what was it? Case or there was two of them, Case and
I don't remember the other one.
Right, the other one, the other Mr. Robot thingy. Yeah. And I really, really liked how they developed them as characters. Yeah. So they started off as robots, and the way they moved at first and talked, I was like, "This is effing lame." And then seeing Matt's reaction to them, I was like, "Why is he scared of these things? I don't get it." Just kick the fucking vending machine over. But then you see it, just really unfold, and the way it can articulate its different components, and it was. I felt they did an extremely good job with that, and I could definitely see that being like a plausible future of robotics being integrated, with humans until we get to the Ex Machina phase. We start fucking them. But up until that point, I'm thinking that.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll delve into a little bit more of the kind of like robotics, animatronics types of things when we get into things like AI and Ex Machina. What's the other one that came out somewhat recently?
Ted 2? No.
No, not Ted 2.
That's an AI-based type thing?
AI-based, very... it's one of the episodes of Black Mirror. Black Mirror, I really want to get into Black Mirror. I don't know if we'll... Yeah. But back to the topic at hand. So, speaking of black holes and kind of how it was dealt with in Interstellar, I want to go ahead and talk about the end of it, and how they have those different dimensions of the same room, and how I think the way that they say it is that the future world has somehow made it so that Matthew McConaughey in this black hole can see all of the past and help create a present that is functional and can survive.
Correct.
Survive the world.
Correct.
So the portrayal of this is very interesting, and I don't know how I would have dealt with that. I'm not sure the information that they put out there I think that part is less believable for me than the whole space-time, because how can
right, so they have constructed, so let's say, right, let's pretend we fast forward and we're at the point where we can reconstruct these temporally independent entities, right, black holes, and construct them in such a way that, very similar to a holodeck, we can program what is going to exist there and somehow connect that to all points in space-time where that location exists. So if in their case, it was a room in their old house, and he was looking at it through the span of several years. Okay. does that mean if their house would have been demolished or torn apart by one of those damn dust farms that just rolls through there so casually, that in one of these rooms is just fucking corn, right?
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, if he goes back even further, it's still fucking corn because our house hasn't been built yet.
Yeah.
So, but I guess they don't bother with the edge of the details.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever set this room up for him specifically knew that these are the constraints and this is when you're going to do it and this is what you need to do. But they never left any instructions. He just had to figure out, how am I going to get this message from point A to B using nothing but gravity and whatever mechanics I can influence around me.
Yeah, when he can only influence really the books, and I think he did something with the sand or something like that.
Right.
But it's so interesting to me because you look at a film like Back to the Future and you see how it can be just somebody going into a time travel vehicle, going back to the past, changing one thing, and all of a sudden everything around them changes. Mm-hmm. And then you look at a film like this and they go through such an intricate plot, like the future world goes through such an intricate plot to fix one guy, and they don't even give him the answer. They want him to discover the answer on his own.
Right.
Even though with their technology and
they could have just provided,
they probably could have provided something, or even provided something in the further in the past.
You're right. And save all the black people that did not make it to the future. Oh shit.
Were there any black people in that last scene or anything like that?
Or any of the scenes or anything like that?
Yeah. So anyway, it's I don't know, it's just interesting to me how they created this kind of very intricate plot and this intricate design to have future people who are very intelligent design a kind of puzzle for Matthew McConaughey. Just one person. They don't even design a puzzle for the world as a whole to help them or give them any answers. It's just a puzzle for Matthew McConaughey in a black hole. Is it because he only went into he's the only person to have gone into a black hole? Or, I don't know. That's interesting to me.
That's a good question. Yeah. Was this a one-off? Did they do it for this one person, this one instance, and that's why it is so unique? Yeah. And the answer just came to him so naturally.
Yeah.
Or is this something that they do to solve a lot of other problems that they may have had, and they just trapping motherfuckers in black holes, until they figure shit out.
It's like a Saw movie,
right?
figure it out. If you don't figure it out, you're gonna die.
You're fucking dead. And then next thing you know, right? We finally solve all these great problems, and we just next generation technology that we use for just totally rudimentary purposes, like anything with the fucking screen and internet just gets declared, just porno, regardless of all the things you could do to help the world.
Right.
And water's just meant to be shook up and sprayed on, topless parties. Regardless of all those thirsty people in Africa.
But like Idiocracy, just like the smart people are stuck in black holes while the dumb people live on Earth
and trap people in more black holes.
Stupid things.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
All right. Now, but to refocus, so that was would you call that a plot hole? That whole black hole instance?
I wouldn't call it a plot hole. I just think that it's very interesting the way that they did it, and I also think that when I was watching the behind the scenes of the science of it all, they were discussing a lot of they didn't discuss the science of that kind of thing. They discussed how black holes are kind of formed and things like that. And then they also had another piece in the special features that discussed the design of it and how they wanted to create all those layers and things like that. But they never really discussed why they wanted to do it like that in the first place.
Good point. It might have just come down to the resources they had and just kind of fill it with your imagination, right? Because who who the fuck is going to argue with you about what's in the black hole except Jesus? Outside of Jesus, nobody else is going to... You have no comeback. You're right. There's no repercussion. Yeah. There is no consequence. No scientist is going to be like, actually, from what I've experienced...
when I went into my black hole, there are going to be people that say that.
Right.
But they're insane. They are mentally insane.
Until they figure out whatever puzzle their ass is sitting there for. They're not saying anything. They don't say a damn thing. But
yeah.
So this also reminded me of just another callback to another Nolan film, Inception, right? When they go several levels deep into each other's minds.
Yeah.
And at the last level, if you die within a dream, and a dream, and a dream, right, you go to this
limbo.
Exactly. And nobody knows what's there except for anybody that's been there and had to like fill it. So it kind of reminded me of this similar situation of going to this complete unknown thing, and also had their similar issue with time slippage.
Yeah.
And so we kind of saw that in just some parallels in this film. So maybe that's why he chose that approach to it.
He had a different DP on this film too. So I think, I don't know. I think maybe he likes to do that kind of stuff. I know you were saying Inception. It does like they have the revolving hallway. That was a really cool kind of like design element that they implemented, and they had to do a really cool rig for it behind the scenes. And I think that this was kind of just another challenge. They said it went down to last minute, like they were trying to still figure this out. So maybe it's a challenge that he puts it against himself to kind of do it, to take his filmmaking to the next level. Story wise, I think it. I don't know if I'm thinking that it lacks or it's just different, you know. So I don't know. I think they did a pretty decent job.
I concur. And that is, I believe, our full take on Interstellar, Christopher Nolan film. If you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, if you heard this first.
Yeah, you messed up listening to this if you haven't seen it. Make sure to check out what I'm watching at letterboxd.com/theoman.
And you can find me online at letterboxd.com/Southern Scholar.
Please subscribe and tell all your friends about us, and email us with any comments, suggestions, or anything else at inreality@gmail.com.